What's the worst this man will do to me? So I'd already settled for either ways. So this man, we got to the room and then he said, why don't we just get down? I thought about that too.
You know?
I'm not lying.
Okay. Tell me about it.
I'm not lying. I thought about. See, I've thought about
many thoughts
from beginning to the end. Okay, if husband does not come, I'm just gonna adopt a baby, Jerry. I like babies, so I'll just adopt a baby. But if I want to maybe be tempted to watch pornography, for instance, I remind myself my eyes are for the Lord. So I'm like, my eyes are for the Lord. Sarah, oh God, oh God.
It is the E.B.U.N Show, a talk show for women and the men who love them. I am Ebolomo. Before now, defining relationship status used to be quite simple. It's either you're married or you're single. Now, there is a spectrum. We have married, single, engaged, soon to be married, single not searching, single and searching, and then we have single to stupor. I mean single to stupor. Now, why most times you just throw it around as a joke, but it holds deeper feelings for ladies who the society have defined as above marriageable age. You see how carefully I'm picking my words, And so discussing this topic with me is Sarah Ayeko, an award-winning journalist who is of age and who people would term above marriageable age. I know she's the best person to be discussing this with. You guys know her, right? She's the one who actually goes to the interland and brings to us what the sufferings of the people are. You're welcome on the show. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. God.
Now you're on the receiving end.
Oh my God.
How does it feel?
I don't know. I feel really scared, nervous.
All my guests this season always want to run, but God is not allowing them. But you are always in people's faces with your microphone asking the tough questions. But this is very soft. We're even on the couch. Very soft something.
Well, because I know that when you start asking your questions, right? I'm just really scared of the questions you would ask, but it feels really good. And can I say I really commend you?
Thank
you. Of course, your executive producer who's behind the scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's so beautiful just watching the both of you do this together. And I think that's why, even though I didn't want to come, but I think that's why I came eventually. Because you guys are great people.
Thank you. Thank you. You've been amazing yourself. Now to the question, so that we don't use this to buy time, Sarah. I know what you're doing. Being single, right, at a certain age, because whether we like it or not, everywhere in the world, culture will, whether directly or indirectly, tell you that from this age to this age,
time don't go.
Yeah, you understand. You're supposed to be married.
Yes.
And when it looks like you're going above that marriageable age, quote and unquote, because everybody has their own time, you know. But when you begin to go above the marriageable age prescribed by culture and society, what is the feeling like?
So if you don't have God, right, the feeling is terrible. The feeling can be killing. It can be a death sentence. But when you have God, it's a different ballgame. And I think the earlier you get to know God as a single person, the better for you, because how will you survive? How will you survive the bashings? How will you survive the questioning from family? There are some family members I don't want to talk to. I practically just blocked them. Yes, because every time we have conversations, it's the fact that are you not beautiful enough to attract a man?
Really?
Or I think there was one time my auntie told me, Sarah, look at your DP. Is this not the fine girl that walks on the street? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't understand. Why would you? I don't know, you start questioning my beauty or my ability to attract a man. So that's why I said, if you don't know God, it would be really difficult. You would be under a lot of pressure from family, friends, even from yourself also, because you're questioning your ability to actually attract a man. So you're like, is it that I'm not fine enough? Is it that I don't position myself well? No, people start asking, Sarah, you're too focused on work, right? Why don't you go to social places? So,
but it is still from that work some even get who to marry.
Well, yeah, good for you, right?
You know? Oh, okay, yeah. I was even thinking about that.
So good for you, right?
So it's not about too much work, as it were.
Well, some people feel that. Some people feel like I work a lot, and maybe that's why I've not found someone to marry. But, and then when they ask me, when last did you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, you want to know? 2009. That was, I think that was even my second relationship. Like, and it was more of like a deal with God. I don't want to go into any relationship just because I want to be in it. I want to be in a relationship because God has asked me to be in it. And I want to find the right person. The question of, will you ever find the right person? Well, if I don't find the right person, so be it.
Okay, so we'll get to if I don't find. Because the truth is, there's some people who have gotten to that stage, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
But before we get, I also have an experience. Funny enough, I was even, I think, maybe 27 at the time.
And you were feeling bad?
No, I wasn't feeling bad. it's where I was in a clique of 3 in school, the oldest of the 3, you know, and one had gotten married like very early. You know, all those people that even bring the relationship into school, just single person, and the guy was waiting. Just finish and come home. You know that kind it was that kind of situation. And then, of course, the second one too got married after school. And then, I want to believe probably she didn't know how sensitive she was
getting into,
you know. And she just called me up one day. Ebulomo, you are the oldest of the 3 of us. Are you not planning to get married? And I'm like, oh, really?
Wow, at 27.
At 27. You know, I'm like, really? Come, especially because you are married already, and then you're telling me
you want to give advice.
Yes, you know, that kind of thing. And I was just, but you know, sometimes too, I'm very quick. The response is like, the response is waiting on the top of my lips. Like, they know the old late cover now. They say late cover day for the marriage, you know. So I know, and that was 27. Imagine if we're not talking about 30, 34.
I'm 36.
36.
Yes.
Wow. You don't even look it.
Are you like one small girl? You're just walking around the street.
Now let's talk about, we've spoken briefly about the pressure from people, family, that inner thing, because you have urge for sex too. You want to be with someone, you want to be mushy with someone. You know,
put your head on someone's shoulder and just be feeling cool. Let someone be a baby girl. Let someone just take care of you. You know, you get like, woman,
how do you deal with that? Because we think about those things.
Yes, and it comes. And so, you know, at times I want to get really mushy and I'm like, God, I just wish that I could put my head on someone's shoulders right now. And I wish that someone can just give me some really comforting words. You know, can just say, babe, don't worry, baby, I'm there for you. You know, like those kind of words. But, well, life is what it is, right? I don't get those words, but I have confidence in God. And so when I feel really down and I feel really hurt or I'm going through stuff, I have God. There are messages to listen to. There are songs to listen to. And I find confidence in it. I regain my confidence back. I'm just at peace, just listening, you know, to those words. And you know, when you just know that in this world, really, I've seen marriages. Of course, I'm seeing marriages. I'm seeing them play out from my friends, from my siblings. I'm seeing it play out. And sometimes I don't wish to be in their shoes. You know? I wouldn't lie. Sometimes I don't wish to be in their shoes because I'm just like, well, I think this single life is just, it's chilled, man.
Let me chill a little bit more.
But for real, I think it's really chilled, right? When it's time, yeah, I would morph into that married woman status. But for now, I'm fine being single.
Now,
I'm so fine.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say the men you meet, now at this age, you hear things like, how do you deal with questions like, how come you're not married?
Yeah.
You know, because it's one of the commonest questions you get, because people just feel there must be some serious reasons.
I've heard terrible questions
from men.
Yes, terrible questions. So you speak with a man, and then the first thing is asking you is, are you a virgin? And I'm like, okay. Like, first question, because they feel that there has to be something wrong with you for you not to be able to attract a man at your age. So that's like the first thing that comes to their mind. And so they're wondering, and then I'm like, oh, I dated someone last in 2009. And they're like, that man hurt you. It's like you're going through emotional distress.
They begin their diagnosis.
I'm telling you, they start to look at me as if I'm one project. And it also comes from family too. I think there was a time my mom said, she called me that day. It was in the morning. I was really tired from work. And so I was just enjoying my morning sleep. And then my mommy said, Sarah, let's pray. And so I stood up. Half the time I was dozing anyways. But then she now said, so after prayers, I slept back. And then she was like, Joma Binu, so Yoruba now. I already knew where she was going. So I was just like, God, give me grace, I don't want to hurt her because I know where she's coming from. So I was like, God, help me give her the right response, And she was like, is there a problem somewhere? Or do I think we should carve out time to pray about it? And I told her, I'm not a deliverance project. I'm not looking for a deliverance session. I pray and I'm okay. I don't need the extra hours. Like, if I want to pray, I will pray. Not because I'm driven by a problem or not because I'm driven by the fact that, oh God, I must marry this year. I am not in that category. My mommy, of course, she felt a bit offended, but I know, and I prayed that God will help me.
Because the pressure is on her too.
Yes.
As a mom, because her friends are asking.
And that's why I left church. That's why I left my first church. My first church was more like, so we grew, I grew up practically in church. Yeah. And so they know me like back.
And then everybody's getting married.
Yes. And then you find people that are your friends already married with 2 kids. And then you want to respect them as much. And of course, you also want to flow with them. So like, imagine a woman with 2 kids, she's my friend, and I want to be like, what's up now? Like, I can't do that. I have to call her mommy, kiniko, ekpelema.
You can't call them by their first names anymore.
So I started getting really offended in my heart. And then every time there's a marriage ceremony in church, people are praying for me. Every time. Like, so marriages felt like, going for weddings was like torture for me. Not because I wasn't happy for the people that were getting married, but just because people just want, I don't know where they are coming from really, but they just start praying, and those prayers,
why do those prayers even have to be open?
They are
if you genuinely love the person, like, why can't it be?
They will practically drag me.
Yeah.
So it was. So I had to just tell myself, I need to go to a place where I'm not known, and I will not be judged by my age, my stature, my marital status, and that's why I moved church. And till today, I know that my pastor wasn't really happy that I moved church, but I didn't want to come to church every Sunday and be offended. I'm looking at my younger friends, right? My younger friends started getting married. And then I'll see my younger friends married, doing all mushy, and then I'm like, or I want to speak with, because the husband is like a friend, and I want to speak to the husband and maybe like claim straight up, like, they do that kind of thing for a year. Now realize how we day. But because he's married now, I have to put that respect. And I have to respect the wife also. So like all those things were just getting on my bad side. I was like, it's God I want to serve, right? I think church is the same everywhere, so I just went to another church. So it's always, and it comes from church, work. Oh Lord, workplace. They see me as, they always have pity for me. Like when they see me at work, they're like just pitying me and just be like, this girl has lost it. I'm not going to lie.
Lost it, bawu.
I'm not going to lie. Like sometimes when they talk, I'm like, I'm close to tears sometimes, but I'm like, they don't understand. I have God. Like I say, if you don't have God, you will suffer. And you will really just marry anyone that comes your way.
By saying anyone, that point where you said that you just at some point feel like you want to be with someone, you know, you wish there could be someone who is here. And then there's this married man who is available. Do you understand? It might not be in your case, but just speaking to older ladies, single older ladies, and that presenting of married men, like I can be there for you, you know, that point where they just feel that any man that comes at this point, being a second wife, or I don't even mind just being an aside at this point. I just want to have my own baby. And you also mentioned earlier that there are times you sit by yourself and you just wish, oh, I could be mushy, I could be a baby girl around someone. And then the prospect of a man, albeit married, making himself available.
I think, but the first time I joined my workplace, one of my workplaces, I do not want to be specific because this person, you know, could watch and then, of course, so I think I was supposed to be on a trip, and it happened like 2 times thereabout or so. I was supposed to be on a trip with this person, and then he said, so I was trying to be really professional, right? So I'm like, I can sleep in a room with a man. Like, I really don't care. Like, what's the worst you can do? You want to rape me? Like, what's the worst you can do? Sleep with me. Like, that's it, right? So, and there was this particular guy. I really liked him for his work. Like, he was someone I really admired. And so I had the opportunity to go on a trip with him. So I was just really excited. And then the man suggested that we get a room together. So because we didn't have a lot of resources from the office, well, if we have a room together, we save costs, right? That was what I was thinking of. And so we got into the room. And then the guy is like, let's go get food. And I was like, oh yeah, let's go get food. So like my mind, I was already thinking about like a billion things. What could go wrong tonight? And I'm like, it's going to be a long night, but I really don't care. Like I thought about everything, like the extremes. What's the worst this man would do to me? So I'd already settled for either ways. So this man, we got to the room and then he said, why don't we just get down? You know? And then I'm like, we can't do. And this man was to get married like in a week or so. Yeah.
A week?
He was going to get married like in a week. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, we are getting married now. Like, so what's the deal with me? And then he's like, no, like, he really likes me. Like, he would like to, you know, if I could be the first wife or something. Like, they were...
Try to help you to call him. Because
incidentally, you know this person. Yeah. So don't curse. No cursing. No, after the show. After the show.
Okay.
And, you know, I was like... Then he was asking, are you sure you're a virgin? I said, as of now, I am. Maybe if something happens during the night, you can discover, you know. And I think that night I slept really praying in my heart. I no go lie. And I told myself, really, you must not try this again, Sarah. And I was telling myself, God, preserve me tonight. Take me through this night. And God really preserved me. And nothing happened over the night. And in the morning, the guy asked again, are you sure you're a virgin? I said, what?
Like, what's his business?
And I asked him, did you do anything overnight that could change that status? He said, no. I said, so if you didn't do anything, so I guess I'm good. Then the second time, someone asked me and said, you're an adult, so I think we could have something. This one's a married man, actually. We could have something. It's mutual consent. And I looked at him and was like, what is wrong with you guys? You think because I'm single, I'm in need of sex or something? Like, really, there are people that
they're actually helping you.
There are people that are actually doing well without sex. And they're living their life, like, to the maximum. And I think I'm one of those people. I do not need sex to survive. Right? There's always a question of, are you sure you're not like, they
actually say that boldly.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, given the field you are into,
they do.
They can be
So that's why I don't go, when I travel, I don't go out, I don't hang out, I don't go to clubs, I don't go to, so say, let's go sit down, have fun, let's go to bar. Of course, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm a Christian, so I don't do all of these things. They just say, no, just for you to hang out, just sit down with us. And I feel that when I sit with them a couple of times, they'll start proposing certain things. So I do it once a while if I really need to go out, or if we need to talk about work. But if we don't talk about work, I'm sleeping in my room. Like, you guys go and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, because honestly, I feel that as a lady, marriage is not the ultimate. It is a good thing.
That's what they always
because
tell
us. I need to clarify, because someone says, oh, she's being insensitive. She's saying that because she's married, Because you see, if we come from the standpoint of she must get married. If she doesn't get married, she has a problem. That's where all this pressure, sex thing. Some mothers even begin to advise their daughters that just have a baby, I
thought about that too.
I'm not
lying.
Okay. Tell me about it.
I'm not lying. I thought about. See, I've thought
about many thoughts
from beginning to the end. Okay, if husband does not come, I'm just gonna adopt a baby, Jerry. I like babies, so I'll just adopt a baby. And truthfully, I don't want to go through childbirth thingy. So I'm down for adoption.
But they heard you. You have the master.
Like, I'm so down for adoption. I don't want to go through childbirth.
But these thoughts now, have you always had it, or it is because of the age?
No, I've always had it though. I've always had it. Like, I've always had it.
But it's not like set, like it has to be adoption. Because when a man comes...
So I'm praying for the man's heart also to be, texturized, to accept my proposal of adopting a child. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but you cannot now bring that to the fore, because
what do you want for? Because
it's not about you alone now.
It's
anyway, it's about your body.
Yeah, God will help us.
Yes, so I was going to say mothers, because I know mothers would be listening to that pressure of maybe you should just even allow someone,
sleep with you.
Yes, it's not just even adoption. I've heard so many cases where ladies just want to have a baby at a certain point, irrespective of who it is. They don't even want the commitment. I will take care of this child myself. But I'm just saying, in the long run, will those ladies be cool? Because in the interim, yes, you're fine. But along the line, won't you begin to think, oh, the man is not even taking responsibility? Because we humans change our minds a lot.
Yes,
you might be cool with it now. What happens like 5-10 years down, and especially when the man now hammers, there's inheritance.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then
for me, I think that as a single person, I don't know who might be listening really, but just having God helps you along the way. So whenever you want to make a decision, God helps you make that decision. So even if you think, in your heart that, okay, why don't I have a baby with another man? That's not even godly. That's not godly at all. So since it's not godly, it won't help you. Like, it won't help, because there would be issues along the line. At some point, the child will be questioning,
where's my father,
and all of that stuff. So I don't think as a child of God, God wants you to go through that emotional stress, really. For me, I don't think so. There is more to life than having sex and having babies. People who are dying and going through stuff, you can be there to help them, and just edge your name in their hearts and let them know that this is a good person that walked on the face of earth. Like, so that's why
living a purposeful life, doing something with your life.
So that's what I'm doing now, which is why I chose the profession journalism, right? Because I want to tell stories that actually have that impact, far-reaching impact. I want to be able to help people with my stories, and so whenever I have any little funds, I want to be able to help people, really. So that's the kind of purposeful life I want to live, not necessarily as married woman, marital status, married and all of that.
At the end of the day, when they are even bringing out people's achievements, Marriage is not top of the list.
No,
like,
they used to write to survive by. Mommy.
I like how down to earth you've been, because you're not bringing this thought or ideology of there's nothing wrong, I never think about this thing, I'm solid as a stone.
No.
Those feelings will definitely come. But what I've picked from what you've said is having God, anchoring your life on God, whatever decision, no matter how pressing it is at any point, just take it back to God.
So whenever there are like sexual urges, right? I'm not gonna lie, right?
Definitely.
But then I remind myself, like, my body is a temple of God. Like, so whenever, so if I want to maybe be tempted to watch pornography, for instance, I remind myself my eyes are for the Lord. So I'm like, my eyes are for the Lord. Sarah, oh God, oh God. Like, whenever oh God, these eyes, whenever I want to drift, oh God, oh, my body is the temple of the Lord. Like, so that's like a principle that guides me. And so to talk about my 20s, what I was looking for in a man. Okay. Oh yeah.
So as we begin to round off, what has changed in what you want in a man? From when you were in your 20s, and now?
I don't think anything had changed, really. So in my 20s, I think I had a boyfriend back then, and what I wanted was just a church person. Someone who would love God, really. And which is why I broke up with the person I was a bit serious with in 2009. I felt a new God, or I thought a new God as at that time. But something happened between us. And it was his birthday, and I wanted to just be there. You know, when you're younger and you just want to be there for your boyfriend, you go to his house, you go and cook like a dutiful girlfriend, you go and cook, and then something led to something, right? Something's happened. And I was feeling really bad about what happened. I was really feeling bad. Like, I was really close to killing myself that was how bad I felt. I was close to committing suicide that night. So I left where I was, because I was in school and I was staying alone. I left where I was and I went home. And I was crying all through the day. And I was asking, my stomach is paining me. It's a lie. I just felt really bad about everything. And that happened like in July. And I made up my mind. And so I told this guy, why don't we pray about this so that God can forgive us, you know? And then the guy is like, okay, let's pray about it. And then we got to church and he was still touching me. And he kept praying forgiveness, no. And it was like, ma worry. I just do myself, And so now this happened in July. I didn't break up with him until November. And that was how long it took me to actually get the confidence to break up with him. And so it's always been the same. Someone who loves God. Because I know that someone who loves God would really know how to take care of me. And it would live a purposeful life. Like, we would live purpose together. And so it has not changed. Nothing has changed. Nothing really.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I'm sure that he who has an ear would have heard a lot from this conversation. Honestly, someone who loves God, yours could be something else, right? But even for me, God is at the center of it. But I'm saying that know what you want. Let not age let you push your values aside. Because eventually, if you get desperate and you shift your values now, it will come up later in marriage. And maybe 5 years down the line, you begin to feel uncomfortable with how the man presents himself. What are you going to do? So maintain focus. I know the feelings are there, but always take it back to God. And then you watching, you have things to say to us. The comment section is there. Remember, it's the other half of the show. So drop your comments for us and we'll be responding to every one of them. Bye.
So by the time it was shortly after that, and then he came home. And then so by the time I took him home, I was telling my dad, oh, this is my boyfriend. And so I knew it. I already saw it the way he was doing everything. I'm like, oh wow, really? You didn't say anything? So, no, all those people were like, you need to be careful around boys. This is not the next thing, all of that. And then from that to next thing, I mean, you are too selective. You need to calm down. Don't push. How did we get here? Just a while ago,
you were saying no to boys.
But I remember by the time my husband took me home, apparently he had told them, oh, he's bringing his fiance and all of that. They had cooked jollof rice. they killed they killed chicken for my sake. They had done everything. Like, I was like, that was actually like, I was like, oh wow, this is really interesting. I felt really welcomed and all of that. So like,
but I mean, how much is the money?
Exactly.
How much is the money? You hear some people say it's 15 naira they paid on my head, or it's 200 naira they paid on my head. What about that? Maybe 5,000. Except people who really want to go all out.
It is that she didn't know his family members in all of this. I don't know how they got married.
In the case of death, or you can't find the man, where do you go to?
Exactly.
He was away from the house for. She didn't even know where to start. After calling his friends, the few people that she knew around,